understanding is what they tell me was I died on the scene, and the EMTs brought me back. I died in surgery, and they brought me back again.
This is the story of Shanda, Avery and Quincy Kemp, who were both shot 16 times by Shanda's ex-husband, Maurice Sashington, on Christmas Eve. Shanda was married to Maurice for 15 years but divorced her for Quincy, which made him extremely jealous and also be in a killing mode. Quincy was unfortunate to have been caught in the middle of a toxic relationship between his new girlfriend and her ex, which eventually took his life. Quincy, Shanda's new man, was brutally shot in the head while he was laying in bed with Shanda on Christmas Eve. This is a true story that happened in Alabama, USA. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories. Shanda Avery was born on June 6, 1987, in Mobile, Alabama. She is the daughter of Stephen Avery and Dolores Avery, who are both retired factory workers. Shanda has 3 siblings, Chuck, Earl, and Barb. She grew up in a modest home on a 40-acre property near Michigan, Wisconsin. She attended Michigan High School, where she was a cheerleader and a good student. Shanda met Maurice Sashington when she was 16 years old, and they started dating shortly after. They got married when she was 21 years old and moved to Mobile, Alabama, where Maurice had relatives. Shanda and Maurice had 4 children together: Maurice Jr., Mariah, Malik, and Michaela. Shanda was a devoted mother who stayed at home to take care of her children, while Maurice worked as a truck driver. Shanda's early life was not easy, as she faced financial difficulties, family problems, and domestic abuse from Maurice. She tried to cope with the situation by praying and hoping for a change, but things only got worse over time. Shanda says that Maurice was abusive from the beginning of their marriage, but she tried to make it work for the sake of their children. She says that he would hit her, choke her, throw things at her, and call her names. He would also accuse her of cheating on him, and threaten to kill her if she ever left him. Shanda says that she endured the abuse for 15 years, hoping that Maurice would change or that God would help them. She says that she prayed every day for their marriage to be healed, but nothing changed. She says that she felt trapped, scared, and hopeless. Shanda says that the final straw came in 2020 when Maurice attacked her in front of their children. She says that he punched her in the face, broke her nose, and knocked out 2 of her teeth. She says that he then dragged her by the hair to the bedroom, where he hit her and stabbed her with a knife. She says that she managed to escape and call the police. Shanda says that she filed for divorce and got a restraining order against Maurice after the incident. She moved out of their house and took their children with her. She also changed her phone number and blocked him on social media. Shanda says that despite the restraining order, Maurice continued to stalk and harass her. He would follow her in his car, show up at her workplace, send her threatening messages, and break into her apartment. He also tried to kidnap their children from school several times. Shanda reported Maurice's violations of the restraining order to the police, but they did not do much to stop him. She says that they told her that they could not arrest him unless they caught him in the act. Shanda met Quincy in 2021, through a mutual friend who introduced them to each other. They had an instant connection and chemistry and soon started dating. They both had children from previous relationships, but they blended their families together seamlessly. Quincy was a loving and loyal boyfriend to Shanda. He respected her, protected her, and made her feel special. He also helped her cope with the stress and fear of dealing with her ex-husband, who was still harassing and threatening her. He encouraged her to be strong and brave and to pursue her dreams. Quincy was also a wonderful father figure to Shanda's children. He treated them as his own, and they adored him. He played with them and taught. He also supported them in their education and activities. Shanda and Quincy had a lot of things in common. They both loved music, movies, sports, and traveling. They also shared the same faith in God and attended church together regularly. They had a happy and healthy relationship and planned to get married someday. On Christmas Eve 2021, Shanda and Quincy were at his home on Beck Avenue in Pritchard, a city near Mobile, Alabama. They were preparing to celebrate Christmas with their children the next day. They had no idea that Maurice Sashington, Shanda's ex-husband, was lurking outside, armed with a gun and a knife. Maurice had been tracking Shanda's phone and car for months, and he was determined to kill them both. He was angry and jealous that Shanda had left him and found a new partner. He had been stalking and harassing her, despite a restraining order against him. Around 10:30 p.m., Maurice broke into Quincy's home through the back door. He found Shanda and Quincy in the bedroom and opened fire. He shot Shanda 4 times in the stomach, 7 times in the rear area, and several times in her legs 4. He shot Quincy twice in the chest, once in the head, and once in the arm, and fled the scene. Shanda was critically wounded, but she managed to call 911 and ask for help. She told the dispatcher that Maurice had shot them and gave his name and description. She also told them where he lived and what kind of car he drove. She begged them to hurry up and save them. The police and paramedics arrived within minutes. They found Shanda lying on the floor in a pool of blood, barely conscious. They found Quincy lying on the bed, already dead. They rushed Shanda to the hospital, where she underwent multiple surgeries. The police also found evidence of Maurice's break-in at the scene. They found a broken back door, a gun, a knife, and bloodstains. They also found a GPS tracker attached to Shanda's car, which Maurice had used to track her movements. The police identified Maurice as the suspect and issued a warrant for his arrest.
A woman allegedly shot by her ex-husband is now begging him to turn himself in. Her ex-husband is accused of shooting her and killing her boyfriend on Christmas Eve in Pritchard on Beck Avenue.
News 5's Nicolette Schleisman spoke with the woman this morning, something you'll see only on News 5. And Nicolette, this woman is still recovering from this shooting.
Yeah, she is. Shanda Avery spoke with us from her hospital room this morning. She was shot 16 times 3 months ago. She sent us pictures of her wounds, and we do want to warn you, some of these images are graphic.
I have a lot of nightmares. I do a lot of crying.
On Christmas Eve, Shanda Avery and her boyfriend were shot. Her boyfriend, Quincy Kemp, was killed. She was nearly killed, too.
My understanding is what they told me was I died on the scene and the EMTs brought me back. I died in surgery and they brought me back again.
Pritchard police have been looking for her ex-husband, Maurice Sashington.
He didn't want to move on.
He's wanted by Pritchard police in connection to the murder. Officers have warned he is armed and dangerous.
I'm tired. I want to be with my babies. I want to have justice for Quincy because he did not deserve it. I did not deserve this. I need for Maurice to turn himself in. It's a plea to tell Maurice to turn himself in.
Avery was shot 4 times in the stomach, 7 in the rear area, and several times in her legs. She's been recovering in the hospital since the shooting.
I'm isolated. It's hard. The nightmares, like I said before, it's really the nightmares, the paranoia, because he's still out there. So it's been really hard for me.
She's still emotional thinking about what happened, which is why she is pleading with her ex-husband to turn himself in.
He made, the decision to do something terrible. And he has to live with that.
Now, we spoke with Pritchard police this morning. They did not have any new updates about the case, and they say they are still looking for Sashington.
He was charged with murder and attempted murder. He was considered armed and dangerous, and anyone who saw him was advised to call 911 immediately. The family of Quincy offered a $2,500 cash reward for any information that led to the arrest and capture of Maurice. The family said that Maurice was believed to be in the Pritchard, Chickasaw, and Theodore areas. The police launched a manhunt for Maurice, but he managed to evade capture for months. He fled the state and traveled across the country, using different aliases and vehicles. He was finally captured in Nevada on May 5, 2022, after a tip from an anonymous caller.
I'm trying to get justice for Quincy myself.
That's reaction from Shanda Avery, who Pritchard police say was shot and wounded by her estranged husband, Maurice Sashington, this past Christmas Eve at Quincy Kemp's house. Sashington also wanted for Kemp's murder.
And police say Sashington went back to the same house on Christmas Day to set it on fire. The FBI saying it found Sashington living in his car in the Nevada desert yesterday.
Yeah, as Fox 10 News reporter Stephen Moody tells us, it took help from all over to get the job done.
We got him. He said we got him.
Those words bringing relief to shooting victim Shanda Avery after her ex-husband, Maurice Sashington, was arrested after nearly 5 months on the run. She says he shot her and her boyfriend, Quincy Kemp, on Christmas Eve. Kemp died from his injuries. This newly released mugshot showing Sashington after being exposed to the Nevada desert 27 hours away from Pritchard.
We eventually tracked him to Las Vegas, Nevada. Got the FBI from the Mobile field office to get involved. They also contacted the Nevada field office.
Quincy Kemp's family was with Avery as Pritchard police announced the arrest. They've been grieving over the loss of Kemp since his murder. And now that Sashington has been caught, they want justice.
I can't hurt nobody else. I finally get justice for Quincy and myself.
He's just going about his business like he didn't do anything. Like he didn't just murder my brother in cold blood and he just shot this woman like a dog in the street. To kill. He shot to kill her.
And along with justice, they want answers.
Just want to know why. Why would he do something like this?
Shanda says that she died twice on the way to the hospital, but the paramedics brought her back to life. She also died again during surgery, but the doctors revived her again. She says that God gave her a second chance to live and that she is grateful for that. Shanda spent 3 months in the hospital, recovering from her injuries. She says that she still has nightmares about the shooting every night. She says that she misses Quincy every day and that he did not deserve to die like that. She says that he was a good man who loved her and her children unconditionally. Shanda also says that she wants justice for Quincy's murder, and for what Maurice did to her. The family of Shanda is shocked and saddened by the tragedy. They say that they are proud of her for fighting for her life and that they are hopeful for her recovery. They are also asking for help from the public to support her medical expenses and her children's needs. They have set up a GoFundMe page for Shanda, where people can donate any amount they can afford. They say that Shanda has a long and difficult road ahead of her and that she needs all the help she can get. They say that they are grateful for any donations and prayers for Shanda and her children. Our deepest condolences to the families of Shanda and Quincy. May Quincy's soul continue to rest in peace and Shanda recovers from her trauma and injuries.